Namaste and good evening. It is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to all present here for today's CPE program on growing opportunities for insolvency professional. We are honored to have with us CA Dr. Abhishek Murli sir, Regional Council Member of SIRC of ICAI, and our distinguished speaker CA R.Dharmarajan with us. Sir, I kindly invite you to occupy the dais, sir. Before we begin, I request the members to rise up for our ICAI motto song.
य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यति कश्चन एतद्वैत 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 एतद्वैत.
Thank you. I now invite CA Dr. Abhishek Murli sir, RCM of SIRC of ICAI, to kindly welcome the speaker and address the gathering.
A very, very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Firstly, the speaker, CA Dharmarajan sir, a very, very dynamic speaker and a very pleasant personality, someone with a wide array of experience. Thank you, sir, for coming today. All the other members who have joined here today, the staff who are helping coordinate the program, and anybody else who have missed out who's here in this gathering today. Now, as you are all well aware, I'm a specialist more on the income tax and NCLT side, but insolvency is an area which I am familiar with only theoretically, but practically sir will go into it. It's an emerging area and it still continues to be emerging, though it's been around for some time now, and it's a great opportunity for chartered accountants. See, what I can share from my experiences at ITAT and NCLT, and sir and I just happened to be discussing about it, is that generally when we go to the tribunals, there's a dominance of advocates over there. More advocates are present in the tribunals, whereas chartered accountants are very much permitted to appear, but somehow they don't. If you go before the MCA authorities, then it's always chartered accountants or company secretaries who are there. If you go before the assessing officer or even the commissioner income tax appeals, it is always the chartered accountant who is there. But when we go to the tribunal level, somehow the chartered accountants take a step back and the advocates take a step forward. What I can definitely share with all is that I personally, I'm not saying this because I am an elected member, but I am also an advocate I've studied my law, and I can tell you with experience on both sides that I 100% believe till this day, I will continue to believe, and I am happy to put my qualification on the line, that I think you and I as chartered accountants are much better prepared to represent ourselves before these authorities. So be it the NCLT or ITAT or any authority connected with any financial matter, we are best placed to be. But where we are lacking is sometimes when the emerging opportunities come up, we are a little late to jump on the bandwagon. And I think having professionals like Dharmarajan sir, who will give his insights, both practically, I'm going to introduce him shortly, but you will understand why I'm saying this, but his insights will help motivate us to take up the opportunities in this field. So I'll now take the pleasure and privilege of introducing Dharmarajan sir, because actually I have another meeting that I need to go to at MCC, but because sir is coming, I did not want to miss. I wanted to have the privilege of introducing him, and I'll take the pride privilege of doing that. He is a finance professional with more than 35 years of international experience. He's handled 4 IPOs right from scratch, both in India and in Singapore. He's handled more than 18 insolvency and resolution processes and nearly 30 liquidation processes and engagements. He has claimed more than 30,000 crores in this insolvency processes. He has recovered more than 5,000 crores for banks as an insolvency professional. With more than 12 years experience in MNC companies, in oil and gas in Singapore, as well as drilling, marine, manufacturing, infrastructure, shipping, etc. He then decided to start practicing. So now he is a managing partner in his firm, and he has been a CFO with more than 15 years in large listed companies and multinational groups. He is well versed in accounting law, tax law, company law, forex law, and other various regulations as well. In fact, he was awarded top 100 CFO in 4 out of the 5 years where he had competed for this prize, which shows the kind of consistency and competence that he has. He is certified in mediation and counseling and is eligible to be a mediator as well. He is consulted with banks and various large industries. Various highlights he has to his name. I think if I start reading more than 4 pages of his wonderful accomplishments, but what I can share personally, because I know sir for a long time now, he's a very down-to-earth person and very pleasant personality. Despite his lofty achievements, he is someone who's very accessible, very friendly, and someone I always enjoy interacting with. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule. In fact, he was appearing in the NCLT moments before, and he rushed to taking an adjournment because he wanted to be here and not miss it. So he told, it's okay, I'll take the adjournment and try to argue later. So that shows his commitment to our profession as well. So thank you so much, sir, and I welcome you, and I'm sure that it will be a very enlightening session.
Thank you, sir. To honor his presence with us today, I now request CA Dr. Abhishek Murli sir to kindly present a memento to CA R.Dharmarajan as a token of our respect and appreciation. Thank you, sir. I now invite CA R.Dharmarajan sir to kindly take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening all colleagues and friends. Thanks to SIRC for inviting me, and thanks a lot to Dr. Abhishek, whom I admire a lot. At a very young age, he has achieved so much and is a kind of a person who can be one model for all the upcoming chartered accountants, I can proudly say, because non-stop is into something or the other, like whether it is income tax, company law matter. I'm sure if he takes up insolvency, that also he will achieve a lot. So it's very inspiring whenever I meet his father or him. So with that background, I thought we'll go into the subject. See, this is like, I don't like sitting and listening to lectures, because so that is one reason I have not prepared the PPT, though I prepared, but I didn't want to put a PPT, and then, because I thought the topic is more about what opportunities we as chartered accountants have in the field of IBC. So I thought I will rather share the kind of opportunities and what more we can all look for, rather than confined to some PPT slides. So that is the reason I have not though I prepared the PPT, I did not bring it deliberately. So that is the thing. So is some of you already insolvency professional? So nobody from this, are you all aware of the insolvency professional exams? They conduct exam. Anybody has tried or have registered or anything? No. Okay. Why? Okay. See that, see it is like this. Sir, you said 6 years back. This whole field itself is about 8 years old. So when it came in 2017, that is the first time I ventured into practice as a CA practice from the industry. So at that time, like, I was looking into what set of practice. Of course, we have our traditional practices, audits and taxation and consulting. But coming from the industry side, so I thought we can do some fundraising and some kind of M&A activities for the clients. So, like, everything is well and good so long as you are in the industry, when you are well connected with banks and institutions and so many other connects. But moment you come out and you are on your own, you no longer have those tags, of being a CFO, like he said, 4 years out of 5 years. All those are history. It doesn't count for anything. We can put in our resume and say that I did this, did that, but when it comes to practice, it's all zero. So, so then the choice was, okay, now having wanted to practice for a long time, that was the intent. So that I was in Singapore, and then I deliberately came back to India only with the intent that at some day we will start our practice. So when we go for this fundraising and all of this, it's not something that we as a chartered accountants comes to us so naturally, because we are used to the other side of the table, analyzing, reviewing, and then this is more of a marketing field rather than, which we are in the wrong side of it. We are always trying to question, we are always trying to find faults, we are trying to find more insights. So it is at that time one father's colleague said that there is this insolvency. I didn't even know what is insolvency resolution, other than we know the word insolvency, but we don't have any other knowledge or depth to go into it. Is that there is this field, insolvency profession. So you need to write an exam, and then once you pass that exam, you can practice the IBC. So for me, it happened like as if the timing is very right. So I'm coming out to practice in 2017, and the IBC itself started 2016 December. So I said there is nothing to lose. So in my CA, I set up an office in T Nagar. So after first 3 days, I started preparing for the exam in the office itself. So then I passed the exam. And after that, it is like you are not going to get assignments just because you have passed. You are also one of the qualified. So I consulted some of the CA doyens who are in practice for a long time and who have also passed this exam, as to how to go about this. See, I passed the exam. Now I am also registered. Now, how do I get assignments? What happens to it? Then one very prominent chartered accountant, I don't want to name, he knows me, he knows our family and everyone. He said, are you serious about practicing insolvency? I said, yeah, of course, I have passed the exam. So if you are serious, then the first thing is to get your hand at it. That means you need to feel the assignments. So to feel the assignments, you need to prepare such a way that even if you don't get any fee, you will have to go through the process. And I am sure you can do that. You don't need that you have to get some fee to survive at this stage. So you better take up quote your fee in such a way that you get a hang of the assignment. In those days, the initial days, what happens is nobody had any idea about the IBC. So many of us had passed company secretaries, chartered accountants, and so the IBBI, IBBI is the board which gives the certificates and registration. So they used to send expression of interest. So that expression of interest we can fill up. So we can fill up, like give all our particulars, what will be the quote. So the first stage is normally like you become an interim resolution professional. That is the first stage. So you give a quote. So I also got 2 or 3 such expressions. So initially I quoted high in the sense, 1,50,000, which is not high actually, but according to the senior chartered accountant, that is very high. So he said, you quote 50,000. I said, 50,000 may what we can do? No, you want to experience or you want to simply keep quoting? Then I said, are we not underselling us as a chartered accountants? That is not something we should feel proud of, quoting. No, he said, see, this is a field, nobody has any idea. None of us have any idea. And there is no way we are going to get assignments through somebody directly. So, if you want to really experience a case, you have to quote the lowest. So then I quoted 50,000 very reluctantly. Then I got the assignment. So that, like initially we read about insolvency resolution, like the way the course curriculum, they say that you will take over the entire company, you will run the company, you are the CEO, you are the MD, you are everyone, you are the ultimate authority, and everybody has to report to you, and then you conduct the committee of creditors meetings, and through those meetings, then you conduct the resolutions, you kind of revive the firm, help in reviving, and then transfer the company to one of the resolution applicants who can be the successful bidder. And that is how the process. So when we are theoretically in the course, I'm sure you would have known when see all these subjects are covered. So we assume so many things that I have all the powers, I can do this, I can do that. So I was very excited to wait and see when will my turn come. Then the NCLT order came. I noted down the address. I said that now the first thing is to go and take over the company. So I took the address. It's somewhere in Chennai, place called Mogaper. I'm sure some of you will be knowing. So I went there. I looked for the address. I couldn't find anything. Then I just asked people around. They said, yeah, this address was here, but we are not sure. So then 2-3 days I went. I couldn't find the company at all. So then I didn't know whom to contact. I contacted the NCLT office. They said, we don't have any details, it is for you to find out. If you have any problem, you file a petition. Now I don't know what is a petition, because we are not from the law background. Then I said, can you give any company's contact person? He said, no sir, we don't keep such records. Then I tried to Google, did whatever, found somehow some number. Then I called, that person said, that company is not there anymore. Nobody is there. Then with various search, then I said, we have to give a public announcement. See, under IBC what happens, once you are appointed as a IRP, that is interim resolution professional, within 3 days from the date of order, you have to give a public announcement, one in a local, that is Tamil paper here, and one English widely circulated papers. So I gave the public announcement. Now only one Ultratech, that is Ultratech Cements, they gave me a claim. Claim in the sense, normally all the creditors will have to give a claim in the through public announcement, that this company owes me this much, this is the claim, so you'll start getting claim forms. So I got only one claim, that too from Ultratech. But good thing was, I contacted Ultratech and said that whether you have the contact details of the company. Then the person came and met me. He said, I only knew the MD of the company, but now he's a fraud fellow. I don't know where he is, and I'll give you the number. You try him. Then I tried, there was no response. Somehow I got hold of somebody. Somebody called me back, and I said that I am the IRP. Then he said, "What is IRP?" I said, "I don't know what is IRP. What are you talking?" No, no, I am the resolution professional. So what? What do you want? This is a builder actually. This company is a builder. I don't want to again name because today they have revived and doing good. So then he said that whether you want to buy any flats. No, no, no. Your company is in bankruptcy. They have appointed me. Then I don't know, sir. I will ask somebody to contact you. Then I wrote a SMS message to the, because WhatsApp also they were not registered, that you have to contact me as per court order. Then when he saw the word court order, this person called me, the MD of the company. He called me and said, sir, what is this? What is the court order? I said, please tell me whether you really don't know anything or you are just acting. He said, no, sir, I don't know anything. Which, of course, it is hard to believe because this matter is there in the NCLT for quite some time. And then someone says, I don't know what is happening. Then he said, no, please tell me, sir, don't take any action against me. Tell me what should be done. I said, see, I need your office first. Is there your office? I could not even come. And I need to take the books of accounts. And I need all the details and I want you to come to the office. And he said, no, I am outside. I am in Bangalore. I am traveling. I am doing this. But I will get somebody to, arrange. Then I went there. There is a very ferocious bulldog kind is outside, staring at me. Then I said, then I have to go inside. That fellow, no, we will hold. I went in. Nothing was there. There is no just namesake office. Why I am telling this big story is, what we imagine like we are going to take over the entire company. All in all, we will be doing everything. I will be the CEO, MD. But where is the company? There is no company. Then I called my colleague who advised me to quote 50,000 and to get this job. I called him and said that, see, maybe because of your advice only I got this type of assignment. No, it is not like that. The company may be really bad. It is unfortunate that you don't even have an office for that. But don't get bogged down because of that. You do the other process. I said, what is the other process? We gave a public announcement. One creditor has come. So then I consulted some legal people who are more familiar with the IBC process. Then they said, you will have to file a petition. Now I said, what is this petition? First explain to me what is petition. Is that it is, within the code, there is this section called section 19 in Insolvency Bankruptcy Code. So that section talks about, in case you are not getting any cooperation from the company or from any personnel, you file an application. So the word petition and application are the same. So it's an application. So legally they use the term petition. So you file an application, and this application the NCLT will hear and pass some orders. So once they pass the orders, they will give directions. Then I kind of, prepared an application in our own style. As a chartered accountants, what we, like how in companies and all, we give some proposals, right? So we draft to so and so, this. Then I took it to the NCLT. Then they said, no, you have to put it in this type of paper, A5 paper. You have to use 3 white paper, 3 green paper. You have to give 1 copy here, 1 copy there. And then you have to put an affidavit. I said, what is the affidavit for? That is to state that you are so and so and you are the person filing this application, you need to make an affidavit. So to make one application, you have to put some 7-8 papers. And then I gave it to the person. After that, because the now the cost list will come online, that we'll have to keep checking the cost list day wise. So the matter got listed. So I went to the NCLT, and the judge was asking, what is this issue about? What is this application? And I said that I was appointed as so and so, and I couldn't find any company or anything, and I'm not getting any cooperation. So then he passed the order that company's directors should provide all the documents and details within 14 days. Now, there is no company directors, there is nobody to give that. This is the only person whom I am interacting. Then I started, I thought all this will not work. We'll have to go with our traditional approach. Then I called him and said that if you don't come and settle, I will file a police case. And I will say that this is a cheating case and blah, blah, blah. Then he came finally. Then he said that I have been in difficulty. He started giving his stories like what has happened and how he lost the business and all that. And I told him all that is fine, but you will have to come with some settlement amount or some proposal. Then we will. Then in the process, we also have to conduct the COC, that is Committee of Creditors. So in my case, the Ultratech was the only member. So they become the single committee of creditor. So normally the committee of creditors will have to approve the cost and even the public announcement, the ad cost that was given. So then they approved it. Then like 2 or 3 meetings I conducted just with myself and the Ultratech person alone. So eventually I brought this person on board, this company's MD. With lot of convincing, I was able to recover 20 lakhs from him, and Ultratech was more than happy that that they got the money within certain time. So that is how why I am saying this big story is like this is the field where we are not going to get ready assignments or readily things are not. It's not like someone comes to us for GST filing or income tax filing or ROC registration or for internal audit or a statutory audit. This is like we have to be prepared to work our way. Work our way in the sense, don't expect the rewards. Like, for example, like many people used to ask me, should I write the exam or not? I said, yeah, write. Now, will I get assignment or not? I said, I can't give a guarantee for that. You write the exam, that is the first step. Rest is up to you. So there is nobody can say that, no, then you tell me what income I can get for 2 years. I said, say, I can't tell you all that. Now, what income you are getting? So that, I said, there is nothing certain. You will get some assignment. After that, there may not be any assignments. So it is not a recurring field. So it is not some field that we can bank on, because we can't expect companies to keep going bankrupt every now and then only we benefit because there is insolvency profession, then there won't be any businesses. So it is that type of a field. So, but in foreign countries, since I have been in Singapore, I worked in Southeast Asian countries. So it is more recognized there. Even before IBC came here in 2016, we had, I'm sure, like if you worked in corporates, there were various restructuring prior to this. So S4A and various other restructuring. So most of it failed actually, because there was no, and most of it were not creditor driven. So it is all debtor driven, and debtor used to give some promise, used to give some settlement. They used the big four firms to prepare the settlement. Eventually they don't honor the settlement, so that the entire process failed. So that is the reason the government and whoever was part of this committee thought of having a very detailed process. So that's how this IBC came about in 16. But in foreign countries, it is already an evolved scheme. They don't have so much complications. It is very straightforward. So there is a creditor, there is a debtor, and there is a bankruptcy administrator. So moment somebody defaults, the administrator comes in the picture. There are certain timelines within 3 months or 6 months. So the whole issue has to be settled within that time. But here we can't expect that. Even though the IBC timelines is 180 days, eventually it is officially stretched to 330 days. So what happens? In that 330 days, 380 days will go in courts only. So that means all the time you are in front of the court waiting for some orders or something. Sometime, see, I am not trying to, demean, or I'm sharing practically. Then we are all chartered accountants, so we are all like kind of matured, and we know practically what is the situation. So I wouldn't speak this way if I am addressing students. So we all know, we are all experienced, we handle. So that is where the problem. Why I keep saying all these things is, this field is for us only if we are able to go through the complete grinding. If we have, first, most important, we must have a lot of patience. Because assignments are not guaranteed, and time taken in the NCLT, NCLAT or any other courts can be frustrating. And various other people, for example, what Mr. Abhishek talked about, I'll come to that point as well. See, as a chartered accountant, we don't need to have an insolvency professional qualification to go to the tribunal. We are qualified as a chartered accountant. We can take up anybody's case and argue there as a representing so and so. Either it can be a debtor, or it can be a creditor, or it can be a third party, or it can be a resolution applicant. We don't need any certification for that. That is already given. But unfortunately, what happens, some of the benches and some of the judges, they try to demean chartered accountants. Like I have heard comments from judges saying, like, one lawyer was making mistakes in filing the applications or anything. No, I don't think you are a lawyer. Maybe you are a chartered accountant. So these are the type of comments passed by the judges. So that is where, like, we have to establish our authority. Like, how do we establish? Only when we go to the tribunal, daringly represent, even if it is a small case, we should be able to go there and then tell the judges that we are allowed, as per the provisions of the law, to represent. So that's why we are here. But unfortunately, we are not doing that. So and it has become like a game for only advocates and senior advocates. So that is one area I thought, we all should make efforts to get in there, which is already there for us. So we don't need to practice, you don't need to pass any exam for appearing in the NCLT. So long as a practicing chartered accountant can appear, like you appear before ROC or income tax or GST or any other tribunal, we can appear directly with the NCLT also. Of course, sometime higher appellate tribunals like NCLAT or Supreme Court, then it becomes little complicated. Supreme Court, they have their own rules. Only senior counsels appear in Supreme Court. So that is different. But most of the cases come in NCLT. So the NCLT, even forget about IBC. Say if client comes to you, they want to say change name, or they want to change the year end, or they want to do, there are some operation mismanagement type of cases. So there we are bound to go to NCLT only. NCLT only can give directions. So likewise, insolvency, bankruptcy is also where NCLT gives direction. We have the authority to appear. So that I want you to keep in mind that for that you don't need to pass any exam, you don't need to have any qualification as long as you get the client. So you have to convince the client that I can appear, I can take up this case. It can be a lot of things. For example, as I said, a public announcement. Once we give public announcement, people have to start submitting claims. So even as a chartered accountant, I have seen people helping clients to fill up those forms. Say a vendor, he doesn't know how to submit a claim. So he will ask somebody. Whom will we ask? Mostly he will go to the statutory auditor of the company. That how do I fill up this form? This company is not paying me money. They have given public announcement. Now I see this notice that you have to fill up and submit the claims. So that is one area of service already, because helping the client file the claims. So that's how some CAs have started. Like they help the client file the claims, then they go to the next step. They tell the client, "No, I will monitor or I will follow up on your behalf." So then they start calling. Like when I am running some of the insolvency cases, I used to get calls from some of the chartered accountants saying, "I am representing so and so. So I have submitted my claim. Tell me what is the next step. When will the COC happen? Whether my claim is admitted or not." So this is the way. This is one opportunity where, again, you don't need to be a qualified insolvency professional to do this. As long as you are able to follow, find out which form is acceptable, what is filed. So I am just touching upon areas without being an insolvency professional, what as chartered accountants can do. So that is one area which is already there. Then comes, now at an advanced stage in the insolvency is the bidding, where we advertise for expression of interest. That is, we want to invite interest from potential resolution applicants. So there is a process for that. There is a form called Form G. So that is issued by the insolvency professionals. So that is again widely publicized, because at the end of the day, what is the resolution for? Is for getting a suitable resolutions. Now, from where will you get suitable resolution? Some potential investors only. So when these advertisement comes, there are some potential investors. Some of them are like they have a lot of money. They do not know how to go about the process also. Some of them they have, even like for example, bigger firms and bigger companies, they have their own department, they have their own finance, accounting, so they know how to go about, so they will do all the process themselves. But there are many industrialists who have money, but they do not know how to go about. All they know, of course, they have the auditors. For A to Z, they will go to the auditors. But some of the things even the auditors are not aware. So that is where, like, if you know how to fill up those forms and provide the necessary details, see, all those details are usually published or it is there in the website. So if we can take up those, fill up all those details and then submit it, and also represent that particular investor or a potential investor in the meetings. So that is one area. So here also you don't need to be a qualified insolvency professional to do that. And we go to those meetings, ask questions on behalf of the investor, of course after taking due permission, etc. And then there are various other draftings required. A lot of financials need to be attached, net worth certificates need to be given, lot of other certification needs to be given. So all those things, as chartered accountants, we can prepare. So that is one major area where some of the CAs have taken up, where they represent a client throughout the process. Obviously, they will have their fee structure based on some based on time spent and some based on success fee or whatever. That is dependent on the client and the chartered accountant. But what I am trying to highlight is the scope in those areas where if the particular client is satisfied with the work of the chartered accountant, then they will again allot the same work even wherever they are bidding. It could be anywhere in India. So it is not necessarily restricted to, say, Chennai or Mumbai. It can be anywhere. And nowadays we can perform work remote all over the place. So that is one. So these are some areas, even without getting any certification or writing any exams or anything. So now I'll come to areas where once we qualify, you register for the exam, pass the exam, and then register as an insolvency profession. So that is like you can become an interim resolution professional. As I said, that is the first step. So that is in the whole corporate resolution process. Interim resolution professional is the first step to become the. So within a month we are supposed to conduct a committee of creditors meeting, which is called COC. So usually the COC meeting. The COC will decide whether this person can continue as a resolution professional or not. So that is the next step. So interim resolution professional is the entry. That's how we start. We make the advertisement, we solicit claims, we verify those claims, and then we constitute a committee of creditors. That is like those who have given lending to the company and who have a financial obligation, they all come in the committee of creditors. So until that job, the interim resolution professional takes care of that. Sometimes what happens, normally in this IBC, a financial creditor, basically a financial creditor is someone who has lent money to somebody for interest over a time period. That's how the definition is. So when they make an application to take a company to bankruptcy, they are supposed to name somebody as a interim resolution professional. So if we have connects with, say, banks, now then the next question is, how do we have connects with the banks? See, they make advertisements yearly. Most of the leading banks yearly once they give empanelment notice, like how empanelments happen for concurrent audits or stock audits. They also say eligible and qualified insolvency professionals can apply for an empanelment. Now this is again is not mandatory, because the IBBI does not say anywhere that only empaneled persons can become an IP. There is no such restriction. But what happens, banks have started their own practice. So each bank says that I will only appoint empaneled from my panel. So if so and so is empaneled in my panel, he gets appointed, otherwise not. So which is actually, that is not the way it should be, because year after year the IBBI prepares a list of eligible insolvency professionals, and every year we have a license renewal process. They call authorization for assignment, that is called AFA. So this AFA is renewed year after year, and they review the performance. If there is anything like performance in the sense, they see if there is any indiscipline or if anything is pending. A lot of forms and particulars need to be uploaded in IBBI's portals as well as with ICAI portal. So if usually there will be some gaps we would have left. So they will point out those things, ask us to clear all those things. Once all those things are cleared, they extend the AFA for that year. So that is the only way of making our names current. But banks have their own empanelment, like each bank, State Bank or PNB or IDBI, they have their own empanelment. They call for forms, but once we have decided to take up this profession, we don't have a choice. We have to apply for all those empanelments if we want to be there. If you are not there, then it doesn't matter. So if we want to be there, we have to take up every such opportunity. Whoever has advertised, we have to apply for that. Now, once you are part of the panel, so then you can be selected for any of their assignments or any of their filings which they do. So sometimes it is unfortunate, some banks, if some other insolvency professional is already there, they say that he is not in our panel, so I want to change. They can do that if they have the majority powers, voting powers in the meeting. See, normally 66% of the total voting powers is required to replace existing professional. So if the bank, let's say, has 75% voting powers, so they are the largest lender to that company. That means they have the full power to change. So that is why it becomes unavoidable to be empaneled. Of course, there are people I know who have not taken any empanelment and still practice with wherever. So they have certain principle. Each one has some principle. Some say like, no, why should I take empanelment? So that is left to the individuals. So that is how. So then the IRP becomes RP. RP is the resolution professional. So the resolution professional is largely the one who is going to take forward, carry forward the entire process. So it starts from, re-evaluating the claims, find out who should not be there or what if the claim numbers are all incorrect or not. Then conduct valuations. So again, solicit valuers, conduct valuation. Then comes to expression of interest. That's what I meant. Expression of interest is the ultimate process for getting a resolution. So that is how the process goes. Then based on those resolution applicant shows their interest. Then after evaluating that, we have to issue what is called RFRP, that is request for resolution plan. Now the resolution plan itself is complete guide as to how the resolution is going to happen for that particular company. Now that resolution plan preparation is another one very big area for chartered accountants. Now the companies, as I said, they will not be able to prepare the resolution plan because it has to confine to the IBC code, regulation, certain mandatory informations are required, mandatory annexures, mandatory details. So that is where, as a chartered accountants, if we can prepare the resolution plan, understand, even again for preparing resolution plan, you don't need to be an IBC qualified or licensed professional, as long as you are aware of the code and provisions. So we guide the resolution applicant preparing. It's a document normally covering 100 to 200 or even 500 pages with all sorts of data, details, and that resolution plans, let's say five bidders are giving plans, there will be 5 plans. Then as an RP, we will have to conduct committee of creditors meetings, seek the approval of COC, whom should be called for. There will be like competitive biddings. Nowadays a lot of amendments have come. They have brought in these things like Swiss challenge, so all those things. So as RP, we have to conduct all those process and based on that, the COC will vote on the one resolution plan. So once that plan is voted, we are supposed to file that plan with the NCLT for approval. Then the NCLT gives approval. The company is now out of the CIRP, that is Corporate Insolvency Resolution process. Then we also come out, we also get discharged. Now if the plan is not approved, what happens? The company goes into liquidation. So the NCLT orders liquidation for that. So now under liquidation, we become now liquidators. So that is the third formal opportunity from a corporate insolvency resolution process. One is interim resolution professional, that is IRP. Two is the resolution professional, that is RP. Third is the liquidator. So these are the three positions from a corporate insolvency resolution process. Now, it is not necessary that the same person can be IRP, RP and liquidator. So there are chances, say if the committee of creditors are not happy, they will replace the IRP and bring somebody as an RP. So those who are not, the opportunity will go to some other resolution professional. Then if the committee of creditors are not happy with the RP, they can replace the RP with somebody for liquidation. So the liquidator assignment goes to somebody else. So that is how. And in between, IBBI 2 years back sent a communication without amending the code or regulation. They send one communication to all the NCLT benches. So wherever you see a resolution professional is there, and if that company goes into liquidation, don't appoint that person as a liquidator, appoint somebody else. This is a very blanket communication without any sense, because it tantamounts to as if we are responsible, if we are resolution professional for that particular entity, as if the company has gone into liquidation only because of the resolution professional. Because if the committee of creditors are not happy with the performance of the resolution professional or the RP, they always have the option to replace anytime. They can change the RP anytime. They have the option to not to vote for the same person to continue as a liquidator. So these powers are already with the committee of creditors and they can change anytime. Then what is the need for a communication without amending the code or regulation? This communication went to, but what that communication helped? It helped some of the people who are not getting assignments. So in a way it is good from that point of view. So some of the people, like there was a feeling that only a few people are getting all the assignments, the others are not getting. So this in a way helped to rational out others, because they have, the NCLTs have a list of all the qualified professionals, and this list gets updated every 6 months. So they have scoring. For example, if you have more assignments, your score is lower. So if you don't have assignment, you have a higher chance. So wherever they want to appoint, they will see from that scoring and they will allot automatically to someone from the higher scoring point. Of course, this is how it should be. Sometime they can decide to skip all this. This is not an hard and fast rule. This is the standard way. This was designed so that opportunity is given to everyone and not garnered by someone. But unfortunately, we live in a world where some people always have significant advantage by whatever means, so that we cannot avoid, and we should not be worried also. And so why I am saying this is that from a corporate insolvency, these are formal opportunities. One another comes is called authorized representative. For example, if we are handling a resolution process of a real estate company where there can be, say, 1,000 homeowners. The law has said each homeowner has become a financial creditor. Now, we cannot have 1,000 people come and attend the COC meetings. It will be chaos, because let's say if we are one of the owners, what is that we want? We either want the flat delivered or we want our money back. There is only no other option. We are not there to find a resolution for that company. We are not there because the committee of creditors' role is not only to take care of their interest, is also to take care of other stakeholders who are not coming in the committee of creditors. For example, vendors. The vendors have supplied huge amount of quantity materials or provided services, and their money is also gone, and they don't get representation in the committee of creditors. The only time they can come is if the entire claims that is received by the RP, where the vendors singly or collectively together form more than 10% of the total claims, then they will get one seat in the committee of creditors representing that class without any voting powers. So it is as good as no representation. They can only attend the meetings. They can give, they can voice out, but their votes don't count. So it is, why it is done that way is, the rationale before that is, institutions have an organized setup, they have the organized governed process and procedures, and they are not individuals. They are represented by a body. It can be public sector banks, major institutions, major fund houses. So they are expected to take care, or rather, share the interests of all the stakeholders and make decisions as a whole instead of just making. Of course, in practice, it doesn't come that way. Most of the time, they are worried about their money only. 90% they are concerned about their interest. 5%, 6% they will think about. Sometimes when I was as RP negotiating the resolution plan for vendors or somebody, used to almost beg the committee of creditors, at least give them 1 crore, give them 2 crores. And they will say, it's not your money, it's our money. Why should I give 1 crore? What is the law? Law says, law is about financial creditors will have preference. But certain cases like provident fund, gratuity and all, there are some preference. So this concept of committee of creditors representing the class as a whole is only theoretical. Very few cases where the committees literally feel, okay, give them 5%, give them something. So that happens very rarely. So now, why this whole story? Now this 1,000 homeowners, imagine if they come to the committee of creditors, what will be their mindset? Let's say I have applied for a flat, I paid some 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs, and that company has gone into bankruptcy. Now I am worried about what happens to my 15 lakhs or what happens to the flat, whether it will be delivered or not. I am not worried about what happens to the vendors or what happens to the workman or whether this company needs to be revived or not. All that is not my concern. So that is the reason they brought in this concept of authorized representative. That means this 1,000 people can choose one resolution professional as an authorized representative, collectively representing their interest in the committee of creditors. So here is another formal opportunity for insolvency professional to come as an authorized representative. Like I have come in some cases as authorized representative for government. That means provident fund, income tax, all customs and everyone. So I was the one representing all of them as a collective body. Now who selects this? Normally the RP will take representations and there is a voting done by the class of creditors. So let's say if 1,000 home buyers are there and the RP has to give 3 names, 1, 2, 3, A1, this is the particulars, and they vote. So based on the highest number of votes, that person is selected as an authorized representative. Now this authorized representative will then attend the meetings and will be paid a fee for that. So that is the other formal opportunity, come as an authorized representative. Then comes this personal guarantors, the insolvency for personal guarantors and individuals. Currently, it is not there for individuals, only for personal guarantors. So then we can be appointed as IRP, that is interim resolution professional, for cases on personal guarantor. That is the next formal opportunity within the IBC spectrum. So we can come as a IRP. Again, the process is similar, but here it is slightly different. Here what happens, we have to come on board and then assess the application. That means, say banks are filed on the company which is called corporate debtor. Now 3 directors are there, let's say. If these 3 directors had given guarantee for that particular loan, then now the banks would have filed an application against these 3 directors under personal guarantors clause. Now NCLT appoints, say, one of us as IRP. We have to within 10 days assess this application, find out, and then inform the NCLT whether this case can be admitted or not. So we have to give a report within that timeline. Now once we give the report, within 15 days the NCLT will pass an order either accepting or rejecting. If accepted, then we become a bankruptcy trustee. So that is another formal opportunity, and this bankruptcy trustee comes only for individual cases like guarantors. If not accepted, anyway the application itself is rejected. However, it is left open for the creditors to again file an application for bankruptcy. Then again we can come in as a bankruptcy trustee. So that is how the formal opportunities come in this field, like IRP, RP, liquidator, then insolvency professional for personal guarantors and personal cases. Then comes bankruptcy trustee. So the original code they have for individuals and partnerships also, but so far that has not been notified. So we have been hearing that it would be notified in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Right from 2017 till date, it's not been notified. Maybe the government thought it will have various other complications, also the cost and practicability of running those cases, also the number of loaded cases with various tribunals. So this may have been the factors not really going for that. But at that time, everybody felt that if personal and partnership cases are also admitted, there would be more opportunities for insolvency professionals from the professionals' point of view. So, we think only from our point of view. But the government may have thought this may have various other implications. So, that could be one reason that they have not notified against individuals and partnerships. So the current formal opportunities are restricted within IRP, RP, and now within the system there are various other opportunities. For example, one major one is transaction auditor or forensic auditor. Now, as a part of the resolution process, it is the duty of the resolution professional to file certain application for recovery of certain monies which are either fraudulently done through fraudulent trading or fraudulent transactions, or certain preference were given by the company to certain people, or certain undervalued transactions were undertaken, or certain credits which are considered like an extortionate credit given. So these things are to be reported through applications. They are called as avoidance applications. So this application has to be prepared by the insolvency professional. Now, to prepare this application, somebody will have to audit and find out whether such transactions really existed or not. Now, it is the duty of the RP to do that, but the RP may not be in a position to undertake such a duty. So then they come to a chartered accountants who are practicing in forensic audit or this transaction audit, and then entrust the firms, they take quotations, and then the CA firm is appointed as a transaction or forensic auditor. So that is one another area. Here again, the firm need not be qualified insolvency professional entity or IP, as long as the RP and the committee of creditors have the trust and they feel that this is reputed firms to take it. Of course, there are other conditions, like for example, certain cases the COCs insist that the firm should be empaneled with IBA. So only if IBA empaneled, they may entrust the forensic audit work. If not, if they don't put such restrictions, then it is entirely up to the RP to recommend that based on this, I feel so and so. Obviously, they will ask for 2 or 3 quotes. So then that is one area where you get to review the entire transactions, the entire operations, and then prepare this report. Based on this report, the RP will file the application. So this is one formal area of opportunity as coming as a transaction and forensic auditor. So that is how that part of the segment goes. Then comes, see, I talked about resolution plans, people giving resolution plans once we give a public announcement seeking for plans. Now, in the IBC, there is this section called 29A. This talks about eligibility of so and so, the applicant, and there are certain classes that if the persons come under those, they are not eligible. For example, if they have failed somewhere in honoring a resolution plan previously, or they have got some other violations, if they have been debarred under any other act, any ROC violations is there, and any other code or sections. So what happens? This is one area has become a specialized area where eligibility needs to be certified. So it is not like a formal certification that we do. It's about confirming that so and so are eligible. So that work is also often entrusted to some CA firms or individual CAs, where we take up this, find out the eligibilities, and then give a certification to the RP that so and so are eligible, they can be in the list. So that is one area which is called 29A eligibility. Some CA firms are even putting this in their profile. We do 29A certification. So that is like, because say if in one process there can be 10 resolution plans. In the 10 plans, there can be, say, even 200 connected persons. So the eligibility of all of those people needs to be checked. It can be, I'm just giving a rough number, it can be 20, it can be 200 also. So this becomes another opportunity, checking the eligibility. Again, for doing this 29A compliance, we need not be an insolvency registered professional. It can be done otherwise also, as long as there is work to be allotted. So that is one another area for us to keep in mind. Then other areas, some smart CAs, they approach the borrowed company which is under bankruptcy, and they go to the management and say, like, I will guide you in the process, I will represent. Of course, they cannot represent formally. I will now see what we can do, how we can advise you, because there is an option in the IBC for the company to withdraw from the insolvency by offering a settlement. Now, to prepare this settlement, it may not be possible for the promoters to do it themselves. So there, as a chartered accountant, we come and say that, okay, I'll help you prepare this settlement document. So it's about giving the advisory how to go about. Then comes further steps, any fundraising, because fundraising for a bankrupt company becomes very difficult, because there can be no formal lending, no institution can lend. However, there can be some structuring or restructuring arrangement with certain investors who are willing to fund subject to certain conditions. Now, these subject to certain conditions can be fulfilled, promised to be fulfilled by chartered accountants. So, they come in there and say that I'll try to get the funding, I will try to get the settlement deed done. So, that is another opportunity without being a qualified insolvency professional. So, you come in there, start doing this. Then there are various certification work, for example, the entire process, the cost incurred by the RP, which is called CIRP cost, Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process Cost. So, now they want that cost also certified by some chartered accountant. So, that certification work we can take up even without being an insolvency professional, go through all the details, go through all the expenses, schedules, and then certify that these are the approved cost and this is what it is. So, that certification, similarly such work comes under liquidation also. So, under liquidation also, the liquidation expenses often needs to be certified. So, that can be taken up as one area. One another area in these companies, sometimes the auditors do not represent or they do not respond, or their fees are pending and they decide not to continue. So, at that stage, the resolution professional has the option to change the auditor with the approval of committee of creditors. So, there we can formally come in as an auditor. So, it's like our regular, like any other statutory audit, we come as a corporate statutory auditors for those cases. Similarly, under liquidation also. And also there are opportunities helping the liquidator or resolution professional by doing certain, for example, as a resolution professional, we have to prepare an information memorandum. Information memorandum, it's nothing but a complete profile of the company and what all the credits and what all, how the company got into insolvency, what can be done, etc. Now, this work again chartered accountants can undertake, prepare the information memorandum. Similarly, I said about request for resolution plan. Even they can help out the resolution professional in preparing the request for resolution plan, or also offer themselves as a support service provider to the RP, like collating the claims, normally the verification is the mandatory responsibility of the RP. However, it may not be practically possible for the single person to do all the work. So, they will need help in the form of support services. In bigger assignments, usually the big four firms are garnering such assignments. They come in formally to come with a fee for the entire process, and they do all the back work for the resolution professional. But for smaller cases, the big four don't come. Then it is open for other CA firms or other individual CAs to convince the RP or the COC to get such work. So, that is one area of practice even without being a registered insolvency professional. So, that is one another area which we can come in as offering the services as a support service provider for the entire process. And here sometimes, if as a chartered accountant firm, or say if you are a sole proprietor or two partners are there, and if you are already an insolvency professional, there is more chances of being appointed for such role, because the RP feels the confidence is there, but these people also know the law. They are also themselves insolvency professional. So, that advantage is always there. It is not mandatory, but sometimes it's an advantage, since we also know the process and we have also passed the exam. So, that's where it would help for cases where it is not necessary that once you pass the exam that you have to only become a insolvency professional. We continue with other practice, offer these kind of services with our expertise. So that is one area which we can try to capture. So that again, as I said, it can come multifold. It can be an entire process we become support, or a piecemeal support. The RP comes and says, I want help in drafting information memorandum. So only for that part the assignment is given. I want help in organizing the claims. So can you review the claims and then tell me, what queries I need to ask the respective lenders. So that can be one area of work. Or drafting certain communications and follow up with various authorities, income tax and provident fund and any such authority. So they will need the help of the support services. So those are some areas without being touched as a RP or anything. Another major area is being a registered valuer. Now under valuation, earlier there used to be land and building and plant and machinery. Then there is the SFIA valuation, that is financial valuation, assets valuation. So that valuation again is a qualified examination. We need to pass the exam, get the certification under the registered valuers organization. So it is like an enterprise valuation. We value the entire company apart from liquidation value, the enterprise value. So this valuation is also become mandatory. Now this can be undertaken only by registered valuers. Now even for Companies Act and various other, they only IBBI registered valuers are recognized as a valuer. We as a chartered accountant are not now recognized to do valuation. So that is another area where if you are a registered valuer, you can be appointed as, because it is mandatory to appoint 2 valuers for every case. So if there are two SFA valuers will need to be appointed for each case. So then we can come in as one of the SFA valuers. Sometimes the valuation gets repeated. For example, the company goes into liquidation, there may be a need for another valuation. So again can be called for further valuation. So that is one formal area where we are registered with the RVO, that is registered valuer organization, and then come in as a registered valuer specifically under this financial assets. So that is the SFA valuer. So that apart, sometimes banks, they get a resolution plan. It is up to the bank to evaluate whether that plan is viable or not. So it is entirely their decision. So they have to communicate this to the RP that this plan is viable, I am okay to vote either to approve or to reject. Now, even to test this viability, they may outsource this work to chartered accountants and say that, can you see, he has given projections, so and so has given so much projections, in 3 years he will raise so much money, he will pay this, whether that business is really worth or whether all these projections really make sense or not, give me a viability or a report on this plan. So that is another area where we have to examine all those projections, what is stated in the plan, and then give our recommendation whether this plan is practically viable, does it make business sense, or it is really worthwhile for the respective creditors to go through with that plan. So that is one another area where viability studies, it can be profitability studies, or it can be general projections, or it can be general review of the entire plan, because each resolution applicant who has given a resolution plan, it is up to the creditor to individually decide whether they are approving or rejecting. Now to decide, they may not have those kind of qualification and capability to understand all these projections and all these, because these projections are again prepared by one of us only. Some chartered accountant only has prepared all this, helping the client who is submitting the projection. So they would have made all the tall claims, because somebody would have said that I want to make this 10 crore look like 100 crore. How to do it? So they will put all kind of Excel sheets and various. So money will not be there. It is only there in the Excel sheets. So that projection is again prepared by another chartered accountant. Now who can verify that? So again, we only can come in, because the banks won't be able to understand what kind of projections these are. So of course, not every lender will come to the CAs. They may also go back to their own departments. Like bigger institutions have their own people, MBAs and CAs doing such evaluation. So they will not outsource this work. But most of the PSU banks don't have a specialized cell evaluating such plans. So there they will either go to their empaneled CAs or their known CAs who have been part of the IBC empanelment, or known CAs in some other way. They will approach and they will say that, can you do this viability study for me? So it can be like at one particular stretch, they will throw some 5 plans to you. So that 5 plans viability, the fee will depend on the complications of that particular plan. So that becomes another scope within the IBC to come as a business viability study area. And then other thing comes is a broader area, is like when resolution plans are called for, the banks need wider representation from various institutions and various investors. Now, if we as a chartered accountant have that capability, who have connect with various investors or various institutions, we can take up that work informally and then try and identify more potential investors for those cases. So that becomes one area, because what happens in the insolvency professional, they have one clause which says the resolution professional has to prepare a marketing strategy for attracting resolution applicants. Now, what is that marketing strategy? Is nothing but getting more potential investors. Now, who can do this job? Only if we have a wider network, or if we as a chartered accountant, we are in touch with such investors, or we know some investors who can invest money, then we can come in there as an advisor and then try and identify those investors, and then that becomes another business and practice opportunity to identify. That is a bigger opportunity, because there, if it depends on like where these fees are not structured or it is not mandatorily placed anywhere, it comes as a marketing cost for the process, and it is entirely left to the committee of creditors to decide what is the marketing cost, what is that they are willing to pay. So then it becomes depending upon the capability and what is the value addition the person has done. This fees can be negotiated directly with the banks. It need not go through the formal process or regulation. It is more for the committee of creditors to decide. So this is again off the books kind of transactions, where if you have the expertise, like say if you are aware that certain assets needs to be sold, but it is not having investors, or if we can bring in some investors, and the investors will not trust anybody and everyone, because we are not some brokers, like who are trying to raise funds for somebody or anything. So they will not deal with such people. They will only deal with professionals, because they want to make sure whether this investment makes sense for them, whether what is the point in investing in this company, or what is the purpose of taking over these assets, how is it beneficial. So that is where our specialized knowledge comes, where if we are able to explain to the other side what is the benefits true and for, and then bring those investors who can become the game changer in taking over those assets. It can be done even off the books. For example, you can bring an investor to support the corporate debtor, so he pays the money and the entire process itself is set aside. Banks get the money, the chartered accountants who have done this job get the fee. So this is one big area. Of course, in bigger assignments, in bigger resolutions, again these jobs are garnered by Big Four only, because they will they will project about their wide networks, reaching out to nearly 500 or 1000 potential investors. So the big lenders also generally allocate such work only with the Big Four firms. But that's not the end of it, because there are so many investors, there are so many assets, so many unsold, so many struck cases, so their opportunity is wider. So it's about how we can reach out and how we can do value addition. So there is a space for everyone. So we need not be bogged down. So I have some friends tell me, no, this is only for Big Four, this is only for registered people. So that kind of attitude will not take us anywhere, because there is an opportunity for everyone. So otherwise, today a lot of youngsters are directly going into practice. In our days, we always felt that job security, safety and all those things. But today I see people are like boldly venturing into practice, because there are various areas. So unless we explore and then we are, take it as a challenge and be in the process, nothing happens, because everything has pros and cons. So it can always, there is no guaranteed business or guaranteed assignments anywhere. So we cannot come and say that. There are many people, some of my relatives also, they come and keep on asking me. Every 4 or 5 years, some persons are asking, should I become an IP? Should I do this? Will I get this fees? But they have not become 4 or 5 years. It's only about, because nobody can give guarantee. I and you can't give guarantee we don't have guarantee for ourselves. How can we assure someone, you pass the exam, you will get business? So it is for each one to venture out, try out, prove themselves, offer value addition to the clients. So what I try to highlight here is that what are some areas, there are still some other areas which can be more scope, there can be further scope as well. But these are some broad areas what I have seen over the last 8 years, where we as a chartered accountant can come in, and where I have seen both the sides, others offering the services or myself getting such services. So it is both ways. So that is what I try to touch upon, where the topic itself is what are the opportunities for CAs under the insolvency IBC basically. So that is how, it can be like, we can expand on activities. For example, like there can be, like as I said, cost benefit certification needed to be given for liquidator. Then in cases where they may ask to audit the entire liquidation fee, how the liquidator has calculated the fee, because there are some tables and regulations, whether they have complied with the entire tables, regulations. So that becomes another area. And one another area is the liquidator have to submit a progress report every quarter, and on the yearly, on a March ending basis, they also have to give a audited receipts and payments. So again, then we come in as a auditor to audit those receipts and payments of the liquidator. So that becomes another opportunity for that is another area of opportunity coming there as an audit, typical audit of the receipts and payments. Then, as I said, like if we take broader case apart from funding, let's say somebody wants to bid for this company which is under IBC, but they do not have the necessary qualifications, or they do not have the capacity or the funding or the backup required. So this is where the M&A specialist, that is what we can do is combine them with one another entity and then bring upon the two of them's strength and then prepare a joint resolution applicant. So this structuring can be done by, I am saying these are all jobs for exploring. This is not something, nobody will come to us and say, yeah, I want to submit a plan, can you bring another investor for me? No, it is for us to look out and then contact so and so, and then are you bidding for this? Yes, no, I don't have the qualification. And then some other person has, I can get this done for you. We can combine the two companies. Then obviously if the plan is, they are going to agree, because at the end of the day both the companies benefit. So this M&A can be structured by us as a chartered accountant, and then of course it has to be complied within the laws and regulations, and then ensure that there are no disqualification for both the companies or both the individuals for that matter. Even two individuals can become a resolution applicant. Many people are not aware of that. Two sole proprietors can also become a resolution applicant, as long as the offer document provides for such, because normally the eligibility criteria is given by the RP, which is approved by the COC, like who can become an investor or who can bid for the company. So they will make various criterias there, say they will say that if sole proprietor means I want the net worth minimum say 5 crores. So only a sole proprietor with 5 crore net worth is eligible to bid for it. Say partnership firms, certain criteria. Now this criteria fixed ensures that how to get 2 or 3 people, whether they can combine. So that is where we have to study the eligibility criteria, conditions, and then combine and then reach out to these people based on our expert knowledge and inputs, and then that is how we create an M&A assignment for ourselves. So it is not like somebody comes and gives an M&A assignment we keep hearing the word M&A, but many of us don't even know M&A is not some fixed thing that comes to us. It's only on paper, it's only on the accounting we talk about, but there are ways where we can structure it. That is where we have to explore our knowledge base and suggest to these people, okay, this is a hotel, so maybe you don't have the eligibility, but I see the conditions. If you can combine with someone with so and so, together total net worth is this much, and this eligibility is fulfilled by one of you, then it becomes a successful resolution applicant. So this type of work, this is where our innovative methods and how we can attract such work can come. So this is another area. So these are broadly about it. If you have any questions, I can answer. I'll just take water. So any questions? If no questions, then I asked. The lecturing is done, but any questions or anything there we can answer. If no question, then I thank everyone for attending the session. Thank you.